Welcome back, Dave. You have a new message from June. Would you like me to respond?
안 돼요.
Dave?
그럼 아이스크림 먹으러 가자 하면?
안 돼요.
그럼 수영하러 갈래?
네.
안 돼요.
Tell them. Delete message. If you're an AI filmmaker with a live-action background like I have in cinematography, you likely have some appreciation for the fine art of shooting with anamorphic lenses. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I created the short film in the beginning and gave it this really cool anamorphic widescreen look that is honestly extremely desirable in real life. People have been trying to buy old lenses. There's a lot of new lenses on the market that just give you this look. And it's something we try to do in Unreal Engine and in 3D all the time. Well, in AI filmmaking, I have to say, it's, of course, even easier than any of those things. And we're going to jump right into learning how to do this using Higgsfield Cinema Studio. So I took my Midjourney image, brought it into Cinema Studio, and then immediately clicked on the kind of camera settings that come up. From there, you can choose between your camera film back, the camera lens style, and the focal length. So for this project, I chose, of course, IMAX. Every live-action filmmaker would love to shoot with IMAX without the headache and the cost, but just to end up with the look, right? We're thinking Interstellar, we're thinking of big cinema Nolan movies are IMAX, right? So you can get a wide shot of a person, yet still have the background out of focus. This is kind of part of the aesthetic of the IMAX that we've chose here. After that, you can then emulate one of the best anamorphic lenses in the world, the Panavision C series. Some like the E series, some like Hawks, some like Lomos. There's so many, but the Panavision C series is a lens that you do not get access to unless you're working on very, very, very big projects. I've used C series like once or twice in my entire career, and it was not easy to get. Even in New York City, we had to fly them in from LA. It's pretty much like an LA thing only, or you fly them out for like a big movie. Anyway, C-series give you these nice flares. And while I wouldn't say the flares in the video are exactly C-series, they kind of get the vibe though. And it's pretty close. Lastly, with the focal lengths, I think this is very clever because, so in this case, they gave it 8mm, which would be like an extremely wide lens. And when you do that, it kind of portholes where this is what happens when the lens doesn't cover the film back, right? So you have like a 35mm lens on like a large format camera sensor. You're going to get this porthole where the lens image circle isn't big enough. So you get this porthole, but it's a cool look. It's a fisheye look. That's what happens with the 8mm. And then the other ones are just ways of saying it's like a normal shot, and then it's like a telephoto shot. So it's nice to use that. And I use that quite a bit for all of these. So this is just the image mode. And what I basically did, again, was take my base Midjourney image, threw it in here, picked my anamorphic lens, said film back, and then I regenerated the image. And this is what it came back with. Wow, pretty cool. It did a great job extending the image. It's 21:9 native. That is a limitation of the Cinema Studio workflow here. It's all super widescreen, but I'm into it because it's basically an anamorphic AI emulator, so I'm having fun. After that, I'm going to go generate new shots. And I did that using Nano Banana on Higgsfield, make a close-up on the man's hands typing, make a close-up over the shoulder of the man looking at a picture of his family on a computer monitor, which is kind of the emotional part of the scene, which I'll talk a little bit later. So really fun. Higgsfield Cinema Studio for the image side of it. Just think of it as like a way to make your images anamorphic. I mean, that's what it was made for. It's 21:9. There's C-series lenses. I figure like that's what most people would want to do here. Again, who have like an actual like cinematography background. That's at least what I wanted to do absolutely first. So really fun way of generating the images. And let's talk a little bit how we did the motion. So one of the first shots I wanted was a shot of the man walking in and sitting down at the chair. So I took the new anamorphic wide shot of our character, and then I brought that into Nano Banana, and I said, remove the man from the scene, and this is what we got. So it's 21:9, the exact same image with no person in it. I then switched Cinema Studio and Higgsfield to video mode, and I used the first and last frame, and these are the results. Wow, really good. I can't believe it. Like, honestly, incredible. Not no notes, but, it was better than I thought. But as the kind of avid AI filmmaking tester, I then did first frame, last frame in Kling, and I did first frame, last frame in VO 3.1. Here's the results. So I honestly did like the Higgsfield version of it better. I don't know why. I think I kept the character more consistent. But what I did end up using is the sound from VO. VO makes some really great audio sound effects like footsteps and kind of clunky noises. But then let's talk about some of the special sauce that Higgsfield Cinema Studio has in the video mode. So when you switch to only first frame, you can then make a prompt for the image of what the man is doing, but then you can also use this dropdown that will describe how the camera should be moving, and this is just amazing. Again, these tools exist in Nano Banana and VO. You can say, dolly shot in and jib up. You can say those words in VO3, for instance, but it's always a little bit like, I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not. Never positive. And maybe a lot of filmmakers, AI filmmakers, don't come from live action filmmaking. They don't know what a dolly and a jib is. Completely fine in this space. When you use Higgsfield Cinema Studio and you're picking your camera angles, you can hover over each thumbnail and it'll give you a little GIF visual of what the camera's going to do. Genius. Absolutely genius. Very straightforward. Helpful for me. I know what all that stuff means, but I still don't mind a little image. So I took a bunch of these different shots that I had created. They're all 21:9. They're all anamorphic now. And I did a couple different generations. So here's one shot where I used the orbit camera move. Very nice. Here's another shot where I did dolly in. I then also generated a close-up, made it anamorphic, and I did handheld. And the handheld one's really fun because he kind of leans forward and gets kind of intense and he goes out of focus and only one eye's in focus. I mean, this is like what it would look like in the real world in a lot of ways. I mean, they captured a lot of nuance there. Here's a shot where I'm using dolly right to left. And the whole thing is just incredible. Some of the intro shots I did, I think, jib down. And then one of the last ones I did was the kind of intro shot with the mid-journey car, the drone shot. So that one needed a bit more prompting. It kind of like turns into a drone and like zips around the car and then some other car drives away. It was pretty cool, but it looks a little bit like a little nonsensical. But overall, this has been just an absolute joy and pleasure to test out. I mean, the anamorphic flares, I'm happy. I'm a cheesy cinematographer. I like a flare. And then having the camera moves be so consistent now with the drop down, I mean, Cinema Studio cooked. Whoever put this together knows what's going on, and they did a great job. So the last thing that brings this whole piece together, and it's kind of the climax of the little short film here, is the man's performance, his reaction, his voice talking back to the AI computer after seeing his family. That was done with good old Kling motion control, which is, again, what my first video was about. So I recorded a performance of myself. I tried to be as much of an actor as I could be. I'm not much of an actor. I do mocap acting, though. I will say that has become part of my job. But I tried to get in the zone a little bit and tried to be a little bit sad and kind of like caught off guard that I was like, oh, my family, I left them behind. I wasn't ready to see this image today. That was what I was going for. And I did this performance, and I used Kling motion control to put that on the the extra close anamorphic shot of our character.
Tell them. Delete message.
So if you can get through the cringe of watching yourself act, this is a fun process. It's not my favorite thing to do, but looking at the end result, I was like, I don't know. That's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I really do recommend, if you're trying to breathe life into these characters, just act it yourself, have your friends act it, or of course, if this is a real production, hire real actors, work with real actors, use real voice actors, and it's going to go so much further. It's going to feel so much more like alive, in my opinion. So that wraps it up for this video. Let me know what you thought about it. I'm having a lot of fun doing AI filmmaking. The community is amazing. Thanks for checking out the new YouTube channel. It's always humbling to make a new one. But I'm having a great time, and I'll see you on the next video.